Hi there. Excuse me. So, this is going to be the first video of 3 in a series. Just about keying locks and how they work, assembly and disassembly. I guess I'll just start with lock cylinder types. So both kick cylinders, KIK, key and knob, or KIL, key and lever. They go in deadbolts. They have different tail pieces. Tailpiece is just the little metal rod or bar that sticks off the back. All these are tail pieces, for different types of locks. And there's different types of attachments. There's one sergeant likes to use with a clip. Here's a different type of clip. Here's a screw-on type that Schlag and I think Wise are used. And you get into rim cylinders and mortar cylinders. Look very similar, but are different. A mortar cylinder is what you see on the outside of a door in an Adams Rate fixture, which is basically what you see in a commercial storefront door. Has that type of tailpiece, and this threads in. There's a nut that goes on the back. This is a rim cylinder, and it uses a tailpiece like the kick cylinder, but is retained with 2 screws through the door. So these will pretty much gut similar. We don't have to talk about this one because the same process applies to this one. We'll talk about these 3 here. And not all these tools are going to be used in this video, but they will be used in the upcoming videos. Tweezers, obviously great for holding small pins. You can buy paying tweezers. These just happen to be ones I had. I took a round file and filed the little end in. Small screw Phillips, sometimes you need flat depending on how old the cylinder is. Sometimes you need a bigger handle if someone put Loctite in, they're over tightening them. C-clip tool, pickle fork, lots of different names for it. Pops the clips off the backs of these things. You can also pry them off with the screwdriver. This just makes it a lot easier. These are all tools for removing this type of screw-on tailpiece. We'll show that in a moment. I 3D printed this one. This one is homemade out of a broken pick, and I mentioned in other videos. I just heat it up, bent it, and then file a little groove in then to hold that pin down. Whoops. This one is made by Lab, and they're very pricey for what they are. This is about $40. You can do the same thing with a screwdriver or pick, or you make your own. I believe it's American Key Supply. Don't quote me on that, but they have something very similar to this for right around $20. I'm just going to put this on back because I don't think we're going to use in this video. You're also going to need followers, and there's different size followers. This one happens to be for Corbin. This one's just your standard, that Schlag, Kwikset, Yale. A lot of companies use that size. In fact, most of them. This pinning tray, obviously you don't need this. When I first started, I didn't have a pinning tray. I used a piece of tape, sticky side up, works just as well. These are key gauges. We'll get into these in the next video. But And this one's a 3D printed one. The white one is 3D printed, made that for quickset, and this one's for Schleg. You can see also has a C-clip tool, 2 different C-clip tools actually. This is for pushing in the detent found on knobs and levers. So we'll get into that in the next video. This video we're going to talk about gutting and reassembling. And I'll start with this. This is a general kick cylinder, but this applies to anything with this type of cap. What I like to do is pull my key out, number one, so when this comes off I don't push the plug out, because that makes a mess. Oh, another thing that comes in very handy, and I recommend using, are shims. And you can buy these from Lab in 25 packs. What I use for shims are the little white sticky security tags. If you cut those open, there's 2 of these, sometimes 3, and they work great. If you think you have T-pins or something in the lock, when in doubt, use a shim. I always try to. I don't always remember. But, where was I? Oh, screw-on tail pieces. So this tool works. You can see it's the same shape as that nut. Push it in, pushes it down, and screws it. This tool I made, you put on that little pin. I'm going to try and do this on camera for you. The focus will work for me. No? Not going to be a happy camera focus? Oh well. I've shown it in other videos. Just push it down. Spin this off. Make sure to put your finger. Nut comes off. I usually set this in the 8th chamber. And you see you have your spring and your pin. Some of them come out as one. Take your key. Stick it in. Turn it. Being careful not to pull, because at this point the whole plug will come out and it'll dump all the guts out. Take your shim, and I put it between the driver pins and the plug. Or the Bible and the plug, technically. This is the Bible up here. This is the plug. And it just keeps things from dropping down. If there's a T-pin or something. And this is a follower I use. 3D printed, once again, has a V-groove. I'll show you what that's for. As a cutout in the end, as does the larger Corbin. I'll show you what that's for. Basically line this follower up to where your groove isn't in line with the pins. And make sure your key pins are facing up or you will dump them all out. And push through like that. Shim comes out. To dump these, I just hold my finger over and dump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Set that there. And take these out. This has a groove that you can spin this thing, and they'll go here, and then you just pop them out. I don't necessarily like that, because if a lock has master wafers, which are just very thin top pins, you know, pins up here, they can slide out and get all out of place, and that's not good. And again, we'll get into top pins in the next video when we talk about keying, rekeying, and master keying locks. All I do is I hold my tweezers over the pinhole, push forward, and let the pin come out like that. Just set it and make sure to try key pins, bottom pins, The ones with little points or tapers stay on the bottom, and the flat ones, the top pins or drivers, stay on top. And there may be lots of little drivers called master wafers, so be aware of that. Try and keep them in order. And just pull the pins out like this. And usually once I get halfway through, and you can see this is as a security pin, this is called a spool pin, and we'll get into pin types in the next video. Once I get about center, chamber 3, we'll start from the other side, just makes it a little easier. And that's pin 6. Remember, you're working backwards now. Pin 5 looks like another spool. And then pin 4, standard. Great, you've taken apart the lock. Done, right? Wrong, you gotta put it back together. So, to put this back together, it's a pretty simple process. A little note, you can mark the front with a Sharpie. Front of the, oopsie doodles. Front of the Bible, just put a little mark so you know it's the front, because sometimes the spacing between this pin chamber in the back and this pin chamber in the front can be different. So, or just leave it following the way it came out. Either way works. So I'm going to start reassembling this now by first putting a spring in chamber 6. This is a tricky part for a lot of people. Holding the pin with my tweezers securely, push down, and I push a follower in like that. But there's a different way, and that's where that V-groove I was talking about comes in. You line the V-groove, let me drop my spring in here. Oop. Line your V-groove up with the spring in the pin chamber. And just drop your pin in that V-groove, like so. Push it down. And just slide your follower over the top. I'm doing this through the camera, so. And then just do that all the way forward. Oops, whacking the tripod here. We got light, so maybe you can see down there. You can see how that. Can I clip this on here? Maybe? No. Maybe like that. Ah, there we go. You can see. Oh, I just let pin go, I think. Nope. So you can see how that's V-groove. Push the spring in the groove. Down in the pin chamber. Oops. You go off frame here and get lined back up. There we go. That spring in the V-groove there. Take your driver pin, drop in, give it a little shake, goes in the groove. Take your tweezers, push it down, push your follower forward. And you do that all the way. And re-groove, down, forward. In, whoops. In, drop down the re-groove, and forward. And it's probably becoming easier to see outward at the back of the lock. Like that. Now for the plug, put pin 1 in 1, 2, make sure pointed ends face down, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And this is a very important step. Stick your key in and make sure all the pins are flush. Oh, and see, there's that turn thing I don't like. And we'll just push that back through. So the key comes out. And you notice when I pull the key out, I'm pushing the plug in with my thumb and pulling the key out with my 2 fingers. So I don't yank the whole plug out. I take my spring for my detent, put that in, I put my detent in, and reassembly, same thing. You can use your choice of tools, push it down, tighten it up. It's worth knowing that this is hollow so your tailpiece can stick through. Make sure the lock works, that's all tight. Well, works fine. It's perfect. Same thing applies with this type. Just make sure that your X's, if you will, is lined up this way. And you use a shim because security pins can get caught in this groove here. You can see the tools hanging in the groove that this clip comes off of. And these clips can be a bit of a pain to remove, but looks like that. Put your key in, turn it, shim, follow, same process. To push them back on, I usually just first I'll take your key out, start the clip, and you can use a pair of pliers. I usually just push them forward. Now, get to the mortar cylinder. This is where you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver. Remove these 2 screws. And pull your key out. And guys, when you put these back in, they don't need Loctite. They just need to be snug. They don't have to be super tight. Never gonna back out. So I found got locked on it. Tailpiece comes off. Then remember this groove I was telling you about? That's what it's for. Fits over. Push this in, turn it, push this in. Probably good idea to use a shim here. That comes out. Pull out. These are something I made. You can also buy. They just hold the plug, keep it from rolling. Handy thing to have. Reassembly. And like that. Cylinder down. Put this in. On, I should say, and tighten your screws. And you see I'm not using a big screwdriver. That's as tight as they need to be. Oops. Check for function. And it works. In the next video, we're going to talk about measuring keys, pin kits, abbreviations used in lock pinning, and I think that's about where that video is going to end. And the final video in the series will be master keying. So, this is part 1 of 3. Part 2 will be the direct next video. I won't have any videos in between the 3 parts. That way they're in order and probably a little less confusing. But that's all I got for this video. Thanks for watching.